right, I'm going to start with good news because I'm having a really exciting morning today. My daughter's job, as many of you know, is in Arkansas. She just accepted a job at Marquette, so she's moving back to Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
So both my kids will be back in Wisconsin after this. Oh, I'm so
That's
excited.
great.
So, yeah. Opened their schedule last year, and in 2017, their first game was in Hawaii.
Oh.
I'm like, okay, Jess, you're going to be traveling, so that'll be fun. I'm really excited. So they play the Badgers, and yeah, it'll be a good
Awesome.
experience for her. So, all right, let's get through the expectations for summer years for the end of the year. This is really not a timeline. You just have to have this stuff completed prior to your checkout on that last day. So you need to complete it, schedule a 10-15 minute meeting with me where you sign it, the form, and we'll go through. So there's really 3 steps that you have to finish and go through, and we'll look at those right now. So if you're in the review site, I'm going to click out of that for a minute because the first thing that you'll have to do is complete your SLO. So you should be familiar with this SLO planning form that you've done. You've already completed your beginning interview, interval, the mid-year review, and now you'll need to complete your end-of-year interval, okay? So on this one, you'll go through, fill out all the boxes, and then you'll be able to use some of this to cut and paste for your formal summary. So this should look familiar. But at the end of the year, there's one extra step. You have to SLO self-score your progress. So if I click on that one, these are all just indicators, so you know you can go through and kind of check those. But what you really have to do on this page is go down to the bottom, so you could really skip all the top, and you have to grade yourself on these 6 things in your SLO, grading yourself on goal setting, assessment, student progress, adjustment of instruction, reflection, and outcomes. Now to grade that, you click in the gray box and you see this little arrow comes up here, and then you can get the qualifiers. So at goal setting, you know, you set an attainable goal based on a comprehensive analysis, or your goal was really rigorous and superior, so you can look at those, select one, and then when you click on it, it puts it automatically in. So you'd have to go through all of them and click where you felt your SLO was this year. Gives each one of them. And once you have all 6 done, you are not quite finished yet. Outcomes here, if it's, you know, exceeded outcomes, based on outcomes, so let's say put a 3 there. Then at the bottom, this right here, the score is what you'll need for your final summary. It's the preponderance of evidence. So as you look over the 6 at the top, if you have mostly 4s, mostly 3s, mostly 2s, whatever you know you feel the preponderance of evidence is, then you're going to give yourself an SLO score right here. And then you would file save this and upload that into your end of year. We'll look at that. But first of all, before we finish, any questions on how you finish your SLO page?
How'd you get to that those drop downs again?
To the right column in column D here, when I click on a box here that's gray, this little...
But I mean, where is that? This whole, oh, down, okay.
Down at the
Sorry,
bottom.
I didn't, okay, got it.
End of year review,
Down
then
here,
SLO.
right? Yeah.
So
Okay.
remember, when you do this page, you have to do both your writing in, which is the reflection of your SLO, and then you have to self-score it. Okay? All right, so you'd file save that, and then you would go to your PPG right here. So your PPG you've been doing, remember you only have to do this on your summary year. So you've been doing the beginning of the year where you set a professional goal on which one of the targets you wanted to increase. Most of your formal observations were based on that target. Then you did a mid-year review, turned it in. Now the end of year is just a response here. There's no scoring of that. You just narrate how you feel you grew on your PPG. All All right, any questions on finishing SLO and PPG? All right, once you have those two completed and saved, then you can go back to your review site and go down to the spring data, and then here's where you'd upload your SLO. So you'd choose a file right here, pick the SLO one, upload it, choose a file here, pick your PPG, upload it, the ones that you just have finished, and then they will be, you'll be able to tell they're uploaded. Like here in Jim's, I can tell he had loaded his SLO and his PPG because it's listed right there, versus here it says no uploads on this file yet. So once they're there, okay? All right, then from there, so that, if you're on non-summary year, so next year, when all of you are on non-summary year, you'd have to do that, and then you're done. So that's what non-summary teachers do. Summary teachers, you have one more step to go in, and that is fill out a reflection of the end, so if you, or end of year summary. So if you go up by your name, okay, there's 3 tabs here. And the first thing you'd have to do is score your domains and your SLO evidence. If you're there, just click on that one. And what you need to do here is go through and self-score yourself on all of the domains 1, 2, 3, and 4. For the most part, what you self-score yourself will be what's on your evaluation, because these scores are really for your growth and reflection. They're not reported to DPI, they're not used for your pay increases or anything like that. This is for your personal growth and reflection. So if you want to tag items in there, you may, you don't have to. I've tagged in domain 2 and 3 your formal observation or observations if I did more than one. They're all listed in there. So all you have to do is self-score. Now the tricky part of this one is there's one hidden right here that I want to remind you to do. See in the blue? There's this SLO evidence score. Remember when we scored our SLO? This is how you report it right here. So you have to do this one, not only the targets here in the domains, but this is the spot where you score your SLO. So once you've scored here and all of those, then you're going to submit your scores. And you can go back and change them. So if you feel like the day you did them, I was really hard on myself, I want to go back and readjust that, until we meet, you can change your scores however you'd like. Okay? All right, so we were SLO, PPG, and then score yourself is step 3. How are we doing? Good?
Mm-hmm.
We only have one more step then. Okay? Last step then is in the same thing up here. So we scored our evidence. We have to go to end of year summary. Okay. So yours probably looks like this. But you have text boxes that you can fill in versus mine. It just shows that there's no evidence. This really, guys, is just a cut and paste. So you go, the first one, SLO description, you go back to your SLO, copy the cell of what your SLO is, paste it in there. SLO progress, end of year, did you meet your goal, didn't meet your goal, copy, paste that cell into this one. Same with your PPG. Go to your PPG for the description. Just copy the sentence or two of what your PPG is. PPG progress, go back to your PPG and what you said your final outcome was. Copy that paragraph. Okay, so those are the first 4 boxes. They should be a simple cut and paste once you've done steps 1 and 2 that we talked about. Next one, professional development status would be all the PD that you've taken. If you want to go back 3 years, you may. If you want to just do this year, but bottom line, it's a cut and paste. You go into your PD site and you can copy and paste everything that you took this year and paste it right in. It's up to you how accurate you want it to be, or for, you know, if you want to go back 3 years, if you want to do it just for this year. That can be found in Infinite Campus anywhere. It's up to you. The last 2 boxes are really the only ones that you have to generate. It's not a copy and paste. So it's your chance to list any co-curricular or coaching contributions that you do for the district. So committees, facilitation, after-school clubs, anything that you are a member of, or you have taught classes or anything like that, that is your chance to show your contribution outside of your teaching. And then other leadership, so they want you to kind of divide it up into, you know, which one were you members of or coaching versus which one have you had leadership. You're the main facilitator, taught a class, however you'd like. Okay? Then at the bottom, once your scores, I have to go through and approve them, but the NE here will become your scores that you put in. And then I will attach the letter that I wrote you from your formal. And then if you go all the way down to the bottom, you just have to make sure you hit save to save all that work you did. Then, at the very bottom, what I'll do after I've approved it all is I will print the PDF of the summary above, and all your stuff will fill in, and your scores will fill in, and then you'll schedule 10 minutes with me that we'll talk through this, make sure it's accurate. You'll sign it, I'll sign it, you get a copy of it, and then the original will go in your personnel file over at admin. And that's your formal observation summary, your report. And then you're done.
So just to clarify, we're not uploading artifacts to all of the
You do
different
not
ones.
have to upload artifacts. It's your personal growth and reflection, which Matt, this has come a long way, April,
Yeah.
compared to what we had.
First.
Yeah, the first time we did it and going in.
That was the first year for it.
Yeah, and we weren't even
We were
using this
all-
system, we were
right.
using, I can't remember
It
that,
was
the
through the
state
state,
system.
and it was
Mhm.
Yeah.
intense.
Yes, it was. Oh, Sam was on that too. You know, domains 2 and 3 are really the only ones that have artifact, and I've provided that artifact for you through your formal observation. So domains 1 and 4, you know, truly, no one's going to look at it, guys. So I wouldn't spend the time. Because it doesn't flow out to your formal, like on this sheet, you don't see all the evidence you collected or different things. You know, when we go to the meeting, if you know, you score yourself a 2 in something and I think you're a 4, we might talk about some of the evidence because we're 2 away from each other, but we would do that verbally, and go from there, so.
Renee, on the professional development where you said we could copy and paste either from things from this year or from the past 3
Yeah.
years, did you say we could kind of pick and choose, highlight those things that most pertain to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You
Okay.
can go back simply 3 years and do, you know, like the 16-17 school year, copy all your PDs, you know, 17-8, however you want to do it, or you can just type a sentence in, I've attended, you know, my 90 hours of PD in the last 3 years. A highlight of the few classes I've taken
Mhm.
are
Right.
da-da-da.
Okay.
So you can make it as simple
Okay.
or as long as you want.
Mhm.
And then you just have to talk with Nancy and schedule 10 or 15 minutes before your checkout date that we can get this signed, and you get a copy and I get a copy. Okay? All right, what are you thinking? Totally overwhelmed is down here to, okay, I can get this done by the end of the year. How are you feeling? Not too bad? Okay, good, good, good. All right, that is